my my brother bought me a shirt. Really like the phrase cocktail pervert. So he made me a shirt. So thank you to my brother, Grant. Welcome everybody to Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks. I am Dr. Cush. There is a back to the shirt. Pervin and servant since 82 is what this says. So hopefully I'm still on YouTube. I don't know how quickly they cut you off, but this is the Dr. Cush cocktail pervert shirt. Don't recommend you wear it in an airport. I did. Weird experience. Let me just say, tonight we are making a cocktail that we have made before on the show. We are going to go back over some cocktails that we've made on the show, but important cocktails that show how cocktails evolve. We're trying to get into some theory this year. This will be the year of theory and technique. This cocktail shows kind of an amazing theory, which is addition by addition. We are going to start with a fairly, in fact, probably the most basic cocktail there is. And then we're going to start building cocktails on top of that. And in the end, we're going to end up with a really very good cocktail. This cocktail has been kicked around. It has been thrown in the back of a trunk. It has been rolled off of high hills. This cocktail has been bullied. Unjustifiably bullied. And so we're going to make Hugo Enslin, also fairly bullied bartender. And we are going to make his cocktail, the Aviation. We're going to talk a little bit about its history, and then we are going to drink it. And that's how the show goes. You guys know how this works. But if you know how this works, you know what I'm about to say. Introduction time. Welcome to Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks. I'm, of course, Dr. Cush, along with my barback Kyle. I'm not a real doctor, but I did spend almost 2 decades running some of LA's best bars. After years of teaching classes and training bartenders, I want to demystify the cocktail world for you. Let's try a few new things as I open up my bar to everybody. Belly up, chat, and let's have a drink. Making this cocktail along with me, you want to take some sort of coupe glass, put in the freezer now. Now would be a great time. If you're not making this drink along with me, hey, put a coupe glass in the freezer. It stays good. It doesn't warm up in there. It stays cold. Always good to have a cocktail glass ready to go in the freezer. Let me say hello to the people before we get too deep into it. Amy Beer letting me know that I am a doctor of cocktails and not a doctor of spell check. Yes. I have a bachelor's in comparative literature, which means that I should know when words, I should know when cocktails are spelled wrong specifically, but I should know when words are spelled wrong. I spelled aviation without the first I, so it's an abation, not the same thing. Maybe we'll create that later. So thank you, Amy Beer, for getting that. Good evening. Shawnee Bandabaker showed up 10 minutes early, which is what? Late. It's late to show up to the bar, so I don't know what kind of punishment Shawnee should get at this point, but maybe shun? Maybe we should shun him? Can we still exile people? As punishment, you should go subscribe to his Instagram. SeanP89 on Instagram. Go check that out. Tiki Court is here. Cheers to you, Tiki Court. Pismo 2AZ is here. I think that's the 10. Is that right? Where's Pismo? I think you take the maybe you don't take the 10. I don't know. Captain Jack and Coke. Aloha. Absolutely. DC Debbie Clark is here. We're going to be using DC Debbie Clark's gin. And then, get a second, ask her how her date went. If you tell us you have a date yesterday, this is Chekhov's date. There's a theory in drama that if somebody brings a gun onto stage and you do not use that gun, you have done the wrong thing. Chekhov's gun means if you ever see a gun, somebody's going to use that gun. If DC Debbie Clark mentions that she has a date, somebody should ask. We should at least figure it out. I mean, she's fine. She made it here, so that's good. Kyle Tender is here. Let's give Kyle Tender what he wants. I'm sure he wants a couple sound effects. He just wants to make sure that my sound effect board is working.
Tiki, 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 taka, taka, ta, tiki, tiki, nueve, ratatata.
Good to see you. Moose is here. Moose. Good to see you there, Moose. Who else do we got here? We got Roger G. Happy Friday Eve to everybody. Yes, we are Friday even it here. If you don't have anything to do tomorrow, have a couple of these. What do you got to lose? Brain cells, liver function. There's a few things. Keith Austin is here. Aviation, one of his favorites. Keith Austin, allowed behind the bar. BGB the Bunny is here. Good to see you. Abry is also here. We got the duo also allowed behind the bar. So that's good. A lot of talk about weather. You guys seem to be going through it right now. Yes, it is tough when we need Bon Bon the Bouncer to screen the doc himself. That is true. Lulu can't be here tonight. She's at a friend's house setting up for a party this weekend. That seems like a lot of her life going right there. A lot of setting up for parties. I'm here alone playing with the sound system. Didn't know you did sound systems. I think my sound system is awful. But alas, it is my sound system. Let's get into this cocktail, the Aviation. Hugely misunderstood cocktail. Hugely misunderstood. For a very, very long time, we did not understand what Hugo was even talking about with this cocktail, because he was, as much as we want to believe that people that whose names we know now were famous when they were around, Rembrandt, nobody knew who Rembrandt was until after, Van Gogh, Rembrandt, probably all of them. I don't care. All of them, except for Picasso. All of them. All of these artists. Nobody knew who they were until after they died. Hugo Enslin, very, very much the same thing. How to mix drinks. He's got a book similar to that. Right during pre-Prohibition, he just started to write. He just started scribbling down every single cocktail that he knew about, every cocktail that he had created when he was working out in New York right before Prohibition hit, and then it just went into the dustbin. And what happened? Guys like Harry Craddock came through, found that book, and started to utilize this amazing tome of cocktails to create their own books of cocktails. But Hugo really didn't get a lot of attention. Unfortunately, Hugo met his end kind of a sad way. We won't get into it on this show, but if you ever want to look up Hugo Enslin, one of my favorite bartenders, highly recommend it. It's kind of a cool, interesting, tragic story for Hugo. But in the meanwhile, we're going to make this cocktail. The reason that this cocktail was so misunderstood was because it was translated poorly. When he wrote it in his, I'm going to just look up the name of the book real quick, if you guys don't mind. His book, Recipes for Mixed Drinks. Recipes for Mixed Drinks. He got right to the point. He's a German, and he not a lot of frivolity. I lived in Germany for a while. Not a lot of frivolity. You say what you mean. You do what you say. Recipes for Mixed Drinks. He wrote about this cocktail called the Aviation. When Harry Craddock got his hands on it and put this cocktail into the Savoy cocktail book, he skipped a whole ingredient. Just said, honestly, I can't find it. I don't even know what this stuff is. What are we talking about? What is creme de violette? You know what? Screw it. The cocktail probably is only a little bit of creme de violette in here. We're just going to skip it. And so for a long time, people looked at this cocktail and said, I don't know. I don't know. What is this cocktail? It's kind of a maraschino gin sour. It's kind of what it is. It's kind of what it is. So in the end, when bartenders went back and found Hugo's old book, they said, "Hey, whoa, hey, calm down, everybody. Everybody, take a step back. We're missing a whole ingredient. We're gonna put it back in here. We're going to see what this cocktail does." So we're going to start this cocktail in reverse of how I normally tell you to make a cocktail, because I want you guys to see how we are building this cocktail. So once we start to build another cocktail, how we eventually add and add and add and get to a new cocktail. And hopefully when you are on your own cocktail journey, yes, hi, Ernie. It's Ernie's awake. When you guys start to make your own cocktails, you guys can start to say, hey, maybe instead of substitution, maybe instead I can start doing additions. And that's all this is. This is a cocktail, starts off simple, and we just start adding things in. So let's do it. We're gonna start over here by making a gin sour. One of the 7 cocktail groups. It is a very simple cocktail, 3 ingredients, some sugar, some citrus, and some gin. As simple as it gets. So we're gonna start there. We're gonna start over here with this gin. Coming out of, I believe this is coming out of Portland. I probably should look. Yes, Portland, Oregon. This is an all-female distillery. I really like this stuff. This is Freelance Spirits. I've never been able to get my hands on it again. This was gifted to me by the Freelance Spirits people. So once this is over, that'll kind of be it. Kind of be the end of this bottle. So we're going to start off here with 2 full ounces of some gin. Gin, like rum, but not exactly like rum. Rum is the most diverse category of spirits that there is. Gin is also a pretty diverse category of spirits, depending on how many botanicals, what type of botanicals, when you put the botanicals in, how distilled. You start with your base liquor, whether you want it to be multi-times distilled, or you want to have sort of an Old Tom gin where you're still sort of tasting a lot of that wheat in there, or whatever the mash is. Lots of different types of gin. So find a gin that you like. Find a few gins that you like. Gin can obviously start to change your cocktail all over the place. We are making this into a gin sour. So we're going to take our lemon juice right here. This is just pseudo lemon juice. And we're going to throw in 3/4 of an ounce of some lemon juice. Doing great. Cool. If you want to stop right there, I don't think you're going to have a good time. This is going to be a pretty lemony situation. So what do we use to balance this out? Lots of things. If we want to make this into a daisy, we would grab some sort of orange liqueur or another liqueur to add as our sweetener. That is not what this is, though. This is a gin sour built out. So, since it's a sour, we're going to reach down in here. We're going to grab our Frank's Red Hot bottle that stores 2-to-1 simple syrup. And we're going to put a little less sugar in here than what we would if we were going to be making this into a regular gin sour. If you want a regular gin sour, anywhere between a 1/2 ounce, 3/4 of an ounce, shake this up. You got yourself a very simple but delicious cocktail. With the lemon, it's a sour. With the lime, it's a gimlet. We are doing lemon today, so we are doing a sour. There might be a whole nother name for it. Gin sour is just fine. Everybody knows what you're talking about. We're only going to be putting in 1/4 of an ounce of some simple syrup, because of course we have other things to add to this. So this is a little bit of addition by subtraction, but follow along. 1/4 ounce of some simple syrup. Maybe even I just poured a short 1/4 ounce. Keith asking questions that's I'm not positive I'm prepared. Is that close to a London Dry in flavor profile? No, it is. It's not exactly a London Dry gin. I don't know a lot of places that are, other than like real big London, England, UK distilleries that are making a ton of London Dry gin. It's kind of a pain in the ass to make. Really, because you have to, in a London Dry gin, you have to do all of your additions of the flavorings. What's the word I'm looking for? Herbs, spices. You got to put all of that in before you distill, and then you come out with those flavors sort of distilled down. It's so much easier, so much more fun to make a base spirit. However you want to do it. You'll see a lot of Scotch places, a lot of whiskey places, a lot of all these different places that will make gin, because they will take some of the booze, some of the alcohol, some of the whatever it's called, the ethanol. And they'll put some of it into barrels, right, and age it. But they can't start selling that for a long time. It's got to age for at least 2 years. So what do you do as a distillery? You sit there with your thumbs a-twiddling. You can't do anything. You stare at each other and wonder why you even got into this business. Well, you have some of the heart of the liquid coming out. If you then treat that as if it was sort of vodka, maybe distill it one more time, and then add your botanicals, is the word I was looking for earlier. You add your botanicals, then you can flavor on the fly, right? If you have aspirations to make another type of liquor, then nobody wants their bourbon to have gin, London Dry gin, as their base to then throw it in. If you're only going to make gin, that's one thing. But a lot of these distilleries, they want to make a lot of things, right? Freeland Spirits, I'm sure, wants to make a few things. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to talk to them. But if you start with a base and then you throw that into a barrel, then you can flavor it afterwards. Much, much simpler. So this is not a London Dry style. This is going to have more botanicals, a little sweeter. So something to look for yes, thank you, Keith, botanicals. Something that something that would be comparable to this is basically any other gin. Find another gin you like. I like Martin Miller's. I don't have any Martin Miller's back here anymore. I was, for a while, sponsored by another gin company, and they packed up and left town, just disappeared off the face of the earth. So now we are in search for a new gin. So if anybody's got a new gin that needs a face, some sort of, I don't know, cocktail pervert, look at me. Okay, we got this cocktail. By the way, where would one get that fabulous shirt you're wearing? I was afraid people might ask for the shirt. We may or may not put it on the website, so I don't know. I don't know if I want my face all over the world, wherever you guys are heading, that is my face that has the word pervert underneath it, because all you got to do is do this, and then it's just pervert. There's context within the shirt. Okay. We are going to now change this gin sour. We're going to take the gin sour and we are going to improve it. Whether or not you think this is an actual improvement or not is completely up to you. But that's the actual term. Like when somebody splits the vermouth base in a Manhattan or a martini, they have made a perfect Manhattan or a perfect martini. When you do half of the dry and half of the sweet red or any kind of sweet there, you've made a perfect martini. That's just what it's called. When you improve a cocktail, you're going to add either or both, but usually either absinthe, which we're not adding, or maraschino liqueur. And so I just happened to have bought a new bottle of this very recently. Hopefully this will last me the year. This is one of my very favorite cocktail ingredients of all time. When I first started oh, do we get a crack? Oh yeah, there was a crack. I didn't even open it. When I first started experimenting, with making my own cocktails, you will go back the same time that every other bartender was putting Saint Germain in everything and calling it my little play on whatever. They were all putting Saint Germain in their cocktails. I was doing something a little different. That does make me cooler. But it is a fact. I was working with Maraschino Liqueur, trying to find interesting places to put this in here, because it is, as the title goes, it's an improvement. This is an improved cocktail. So we are going to be putting in half of an ounce of some Maraschino Liqueur in order to make an improved gin sour. So half an ounce of Maraschino Liqueur. Now be careful with this stuff. I say how much that I like it, and I do. I love it. I dressed up as this bottle for Halloween one year. That's how much I like it. Be careful with it. Too much of a good thing can be the road to ruin. I don't know if that's the actual phrase, but too much of a good thing isn't always a good thing. This stuff is very much an invasive ingredient, and it will take over your cocktail. We don't want that. We don't want to just sip a Maraschino liqueur. I've tried it. It's not good. Okay. This is the cocktail that Harry Craddock made and called it the Aviation. I'm going to bring you into a close-up cam here. I want you guys to look at that. That is just kind of a yellow cocktail. Just a little yellow. Just a touch. It's got just a touch of that pea tinge from the lemon juice. And everything else we put in there is clear. So just whatever tinge that lemon gave it in the color, that's all we got. And this is what Harry Craddock in the Savoy called the Aviation. So when bartenders went back and found the Savoy cocktail book, Savoy cocktail book, it's a red one. Oh, geez. Would have been nice to just grab it, but I didn't. It probably got moved somewhere else. Anyway, in Harry Craddock's book, the Savoy cocktail book, which is one of the big tomes of the cocktail reawakening that we had in the early 2000s when guys that looked an awful lot like me with their mustaches curled, reading books. Oh yeah, I still got that curl in there. Oh my goodness, it'll never go away, I don't think. Let's see if I can get it to stay. Yes, there we go. When guys that looked a lot like this were trying to figure out how to make old, good cocktails, we were listening to guys like Dale DeGroff, and we were going back, who was using all fresh ingredients, no more of this canned and bottled stuff. We want to use real stuff. And we were also going back to old books. We hadn't found recipes for mixing drinks. We had only found, are we laughing at the mustache? There we go. We had only found the Savoy. And in the Savoy, they mentioned this. A lot of bartenders made this. They said, this is nothing to write home about. I don't even know what we're talking about. What are we doing? Stop it. So instead of bringing this back, like we brought in cocktails like the Negroni, like we brought back things like the Old Fashioned and started playing with those guys, like we brought back things like the other ones, all the other ones. Don't make me think of them. Like we brought back all those other ones. This one just got forgotten. Just got forgotten. Until somebody finally found the last ingredients. And suddenly the name made sense. It's called the Aviation. What does this have to do with aviation? Nothing. This has nothing to do with aviation. Maraschino is made on the ground. It's made by trees, cherry trees in Croatia. Lemons, those are almost always grown on the ground. Gin, you can't distill in the air, so all that's there. And then sugar, it'll make you feel high, but it's a ground crop. All right, so what do we need? We need something that reminds us of flying, something that reminds us of the air. Well, why not find a blue liqueur? It reminds us of the sky. How great is that? If you skip it, it's a maraschino flavored, it's an improved gin sour. If, however, we take this and expand it out just a little bit, and we bring in something like this, creme de Violette, we can give it that tinge. We can give it that thing that makes it the Aviation, right? The problem with creme de Violette is nobody's making it. How come? As our good friend David Wonderich once said, it tastes like hand soap. And he's not wrong. It tastes a little like hand soap. It isn't a cocktail ingredient that goes into everything. I believe that I have had this exact bottle since we started the show almost 6 years ago. That is a sad thing to say. Almost 6 years ago, I've had this bottle. I think I started with it here and it's gone down to here because it is an incredibly difficult ingredient to introduce to a lot of cocktails. It needs big flavors. It needs your gins that have some big flavors. It needs your maraschino that is going to have some big flavors. It needs that to balance its whole life out. And even when we are using it, we are not going to grab our jigger. Instead, we are going to grab a bar spoon. We only want this for its color and its subtle violet flavor. Very, very subtle. Now, I assume that creme de violette used to be bluer. I can only assume. Creme de violette at this point is almost all purple, which is fine. It's great. We're going to go ahead and put in a bar spoon plus, right? We're going to do a heaping bar spoon of some creme de violette. This is how we heap a bar spoon. Oh, there we go. Just until it goes a little over the top. We're looking for, if you really are against using bar spoons, you are very precise. We're looking for a little bit more than 1/8 of an ounce of creme de violette. And now, let me bring you in with this camera. Now we can see it's got some color to it. A little purple. Let's flash it with this phone real quick. There we go. A little purple. That's better. That's the good shot right there. A little purple. Does purple look exactly like the sky? Sometimes. Looks more like the sky than a clear yellow substance, a clear yellow liquid. That doesn't look like the sky at all. This at least has a fighting shot at looking like the sky. So this is our cocktail. Started with one drink and just started adding on to it. One great way to create cocktails. There are lots of other great ways to create cocktails. Full-on substitutions. It's a great way to create cocktails. Switching up the base. That's a great way to create your own cocktails. Subtracting everything out of it is a good way to create cocktails. The best margarita, in my opinion, just starts ripping ingredients out of it. That's a Tommy's margarita. We take out that orange. We don't need the orange. And then we take out the salt. We don't need the salt. And then we just add a little bit of agave spirit, or agave syrup, which is already in the cocktail since we're making margaritas with agave. That's tequila. So we're doing less flavors instead of more flavors. That's a great way to do it. Lots of great ways to create cocktails. So even though we've touched this with our hands, now we're going to touch it with our little ice pinch thing. I'll throw this in here. And we're going to give this a shake. At some point, we could probably do this one as a battle box to see whether or not it's better to have this as a stirred cocktail. There is some lemon in here, so we want all that specific gravity to get sort of rocked by the large cube in here to change that up. We want that, but this is a shaken cocktail. So give this a big old shake. Dougie G has added a drop of food coloring to give people what they want, what the expected color. It's a good way to do it. There's also my friends at Magellan. They sent me a bottle. I can throw their name out there. They give you a full-on blue gin, iris colored, also iris flavored. Apparently, I did a lot of experiments with these guys. I still don't know what an iris tastes like. I'm not interested in eating a flower. Nice chilly glass here. Look how chilly that is. We're going to take one of these. We're going to reach over here, grab one of these, take our Hawthorne strainer, strain this out. We have a nice bit of purple cocktail. A cocktail almost completely forgotten to time because Harry Craddock was not interested in doing the little bit of extra work to figure out what creme de violette is. Instead, he just cut it, makes for a boring cocktail. The philosophy here on this Cocktail Pervert show is it's better to make the cocktail than not make the cocktail. So if you don't have an ingredient, maybe try and skip it or replace it with something else. He didn't try and replace it. He just made another cocktail that I'm sure worked. I've had Aviations that don't have the creme de violette. They're fine. Improved gin sours. That's a good cocktail. But that is not what we are looking for in this one. So if we are ever writing down our cocktails, we definitely want to make sure that we at least give people a fighting chance to create the right cocktail. I'm going to decorate this with just one little cherry. Oh, this little cherry. I'm going to try and get as much juice off of it. I want to keep that color. We're going to drop it in. There we go. And if you want to, a little lemon peel. It's a good way to do it. I don't want to. Also, I don't have a lemon. That's the good thing about using pseudo juice is we're already putting the oils into the pseudo juice, so we don't really need a ton more of the stuff. This is it. Addition by addition, a Aviation cocktail from Hugo Enslin from New York, by way of Germany, I assume. Cheers to you guys. Let's see how we did. I don't know. I mean, I have this fight with David Wondrich every time that I'm on the show, and he has no idea we're having this fight. I think that creme de violette, in the right amounts, does really good work for a cocktail. It's it binds well. It fights its way, even with just a little bit, fights its way right to the top. I don't know. I don't know. I agree with Davey Wonder on almost everything else. I love his stuff. If you haven't, highly recommend. I don't think you'll ever have to watch my show again if you do this, but highly recommend you listen to his podcast called Life Behind Bars. Digs deep into a ton of really interesting stuff, but in there he says a few inflammatory things. One of those, in my opinion, is that nobody should be using. I don't know if he says nobody should be using. He says the creme de violette, it tastes like hand soap and should most likely be left out of most cocktails. I just disagree. I think that this it makes it look nice. It makes it look unique. If somebody saw this cocktail on a bar, you wouldn't confuse it for most other things. You would say that most likely that purple drink that you have in front of you is an Aviation. And in the end, I'll have one, please. Thank you. Yeah, one of my favorites. This is... Can't get enough of this cocktail. That's what we got. That's what we did. I'll let you guys know if the Cocktail Pervert shirt ever hits the internet. I can't imagine it will, but maybe it will. You know, if there's enough outcry for it, I suppose a Cocktail Pervert shirt could make its way out into the world. For right now, this is a 1 of 1, and I don't know if I need it to be 1 of 100 or however many they go, but I'll let you guys know. Thank you guys for tuning in to Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks. How long did we go? Oh, we did pretty good. My goodness. We will be back here on Saturday in order to complete the cycle of this week. Thank you for everybody that showed up yesterday. I do have a little bit of some scheduling things coming up, but we will continue to hit 3 days a week. And I will let you know as soon as I can what days those are. But for right now, we will be here on Saturday to hang out, to make drinks, and to just continue our cocktail pervertry and continue pervin and servin. Very. I can't tell. Let me just say. I can't tell if my brother's making fun of me. But I think it's better that I just play right into it. If he is making fun of me with the cocktail pervert shirt, I just say, hey, this is a cool shirt. I'm going to wear it right through an airport and definitely get stopped at TSA. It's a mutually assured destruction, I believe they call it. I don't know what you call it with brothers, but for him and I, we are in a collision course, and I am going to take the reins and say that I am the cocktail pervert. Oh, what's up, Cyrus? Oh, Cyrus always. One sec, Cyrus. I played it earlier, but you weren't here. Let's just knock out Cyrus's sound effects so that everybody can sleep well tonight.
Tiki 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 taka taka ta tiki tiki nueve ratatata.
And there we go. This one's on loop for some reason, so I don't know what that is. Until next time, guys. Oh, my dad's here too. What's up, Dad? Wi-Fi froze. I have a feeling I'm going to get a phone call about how to unfreeze Wi-Fi here in a second. Thank you guys for tuning in to Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks. I am Dr. Cush, the original cocktail pervert, and I will see you guys on Saturday. As always, what do we say? Oh, God, no. We don't say that. Not wearing this shirt, we don't.
Are you Dr. Jinga Janga?
We're going to find him. Are you Dr. Jinga Janga? Or are you Dr. Jinga Janga? We're going to figure it out. Until then, though, until we figure it out.
Bye!
Bye, guys.